What's poppin', beautiful people? Happy Friday, Junior. If you are watching this on Thursday, I am Mrs. Best. Welcome to the channel. We are here to do our weekly recap and review of Bravo's The Valley. This episode is season 3, episode 5. It was titled The Hive Mentality. We're going to break down the episode for you guys. I want to take this time to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you to my existing subscribers. I really appreciate all of the support. I did get a little behind on YouTube, as well as school and some other stuff, but I am now caught up everywhere. So I appreciate y'all patience. If you enjoy what we are doing at any moment that you feel like it, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, check out our playlist and all that we do on the channel. There's also information in the description of the video, and consider subscribing, y'all. I do not bite. As I grow, I hope to also improve. Other than that, beautiful people, I'm also going to encourage you, as always, see the links in the description of this video. There are links to people who help us co-host on our live stream reviews that we do, such as Watch Your Mouth Reviews, Kiwan JTV, Shayna_MCD, and more. There's also a Black Creator Spotlight in there because we love to support anybody Black, since that's what I am. But y'all, let's get into this episode of These Colorless People. And before I get into it, yes, I am aware of the Dr. Dre and Michelle from the Valley potentially dating. And if you go watch Michelle's movie and talk to some of Dr. Dre's exes and the daughter that was living in her car, he doesn't have the best reputation with women, but maybe the aneurysm he had, maybe he's like, they say near-death experiences change people. Maybe that's changed him. But I mean, I'm not mad at Michelle and him for dating. I'm not mad at it. Do them. And I'm glad that Jesse's not being a sourpuss about it in the tabloids. So we'll see where it goes. Y'all know Dr. Dre's been keeping his dating life pretty private since the last messy divorce. So we'll see how it goes. Very interesting pairing, though. But we start the episode with Michelle and Nia. They are actually at a gymnastics studio. And it's because Michelle and Jesse's daughter is going to be learning gymnastics. We learn a little bit about Michelle. She is not slim for no reason. She grew up doing gymnastics, and that's part of why she wants to get her daughter into it. She stopped gymnastics at 16. It was her father who wanted to get her into it, but her father, it sounds like, was struggling with his mental health, because she says that even though there's still love he has for her mother, her father asked if it was okay if he left and they divorced, because he thought that people were after him. Sounded like schizoaffective disorder, or maybe some form of paranoia or BPD. It could have been a lot of things, but mental health is real. So I do hope that he's okay. But we learned from Michelle, her dad does still live in Los Angeles. He is in LA. And I was just happy to learn more about Michelle, because I don't think we got to read Michelle right. And then after season 1, the whole MAGA rumors with her, and then the divorce with Jesse kind of got tiring to have to like talk about and watch with her. So it's nice to see her talking more about herself and showing that she does have depth, and she's very interesting. I was happy to learn more about her. I don't know if you guys were. I know it's not like the biggest like, ooh, drama or tea happening, but I'm always happy to learn more about the reality stars, like, because it humanizes them a little bit versus just making them look like these messy people on the show. But happy to learn about it. But we are going to be learning that Michelle's going to eventually have an event and is going to be inviting the entire group. And she's asking Nia if this is okay. And Nia's like, she doesn't mind at all. Nia is me. If I don't like you, I'm unbothered. I don't care. You can talk about me when I walk in a room. You could feel how you feel about me behind my back. I don't care. I know who I am. As long as my husband likes me and my family cool with me, I really could care less how anybody else feels. And I know that's bad. But Nia is me. Like, she's like, we could be cordial. I just don't have to deal with her. And it's Janet that feels uncomfortable when she's in situations. And I think Janet feels uncomfortable because she started so much stuff. So I'm happy that Nia's like, I could be around her without causing a problem. And I truly believe that, because we've seen it already from Nia in the first place. But we did get to see Kristen, Zach, and Brittany go to this wellness care place. You got Zach getting spray tan in the rain. It does hardly rain in LA. The song, it really does hardly rain in Southern California. But the one day that he goes to get spray tanned, I find it funny. Also, you need a spray tan in LA. The sun is out a lot. Get outside more, Zachy. Get outside more. And Zach has lost a lot of weight. That GLP is definitely working for him. But he's getting spray tanned, and Kristen and Brittany get their coochies waxed. The pain and the noises that came out of Brittany was so real. I'm not mad at her, but hey, beauty is pain, as they said. But we learn in this scene that Kristen, she complains about Luke. It seems like Kristen and Luke are having a disconnect over things that they knew would be a problem prior to them trying to have a baby. And it comes out that Luke is not happy in LA. So Luke made it very clear when we first met him that he was coming from Colorado. He's used to an outdoorsy lifestyle. He's used to, I would say, a combination of city life, but not letting city life take over and still embracing nature. He's not used to the LA life. He's made it very clear since season 1, since we met him, seems like since Kristen's met him, that he's not interested in that. And Kristen is tired of Luke complaining every day about being in LA when they have a plan to move. So she says that there's a plan that they have after the baby gets old enough for them to pick somewhere else to move so that they can both be closer to their families. Because for our day one VPR fans like myself, we know that Kristen is originally from the Midwest, Colorado. I don't know what the hell part of the country you call it in, but it's somewhere in the center of the country when I look at the map. Okay. And I'm assuming that moving closer to Colorado is also moving closer to Kristen's family because they want their daughter Kaya to grow up near family. And it sounds like Kristen's annoyed with Luke because he's complaining about something that's already planned for. He's just impatient. But Kristen, he sacrificed so that you could get these things that you wanted because you're not ready to leave your friends and your career. So I feel like at the very least, give him a break about complaining. But also, I get that as a new mom in postpartum, she probably don't want to hear his bitching. But I do think that those two just need like a counselor, and that will probably help them to resolve, if we're being honest, like a lot of their problems. I definitely think it'll help them. But I'm rooting for Kristen and Luke, and I hope they figure it out. We then have to look at Janet, Michelle, and Lala meet up. I didn't mind Lala and Vanderpump Rules. There did become a moment where she gets annoyed and she does this black scent that drives me a little crazy, but I don't feel like she mean no harm by it. But Lauren get on my nerves, y'all. She really do get on my nerves for real sometimes. They meet and Janet makes a comment about having an event. She wants to do like some sort of game night event and just do something where the group can have fun. And she talks about inviting everybody, but she tells Lala and Michelle that she's kind of unsure if she should invite Danny and Nia. And Michelle kind of gave, in my opinion, the best advice. She was like, you should invite them anyway because you want to look like you're making the effort to be cordial. You know they're not going to come. They don't like you. I was like, Michelle, that's the realest thing you said since you've been on this show because it's true. You know you're wrong. The audience thinks you're wrong. Most of the group is against you. So if you're going to have an event, you don't want to perpetuate problematic behavior anymore since you proclaiming you changed from therapy, Janet. So yes, invite them. You know they ain't gonna show up though because they don't fuck with you like that for real. I love that Michelle said that in the most polite way. And it looks like Janet's gonna do this. And I just like to say the fact that Janet has to question whether she should invite people that she has wronged is crazy. You should be the one extending yourself. You should be the one doing the work because you had them people messed up. She's just everything wrong with a colorless lady. She's a colorless Karen. Jasmine was right. But we move on from that little scene because not much else really happened in that scene. But we get a very cringy scene of Jesse and his new girlfriend. I believe her name is Lacey. If I'm getting the name wrong, I do apologize. That's not my intention. But I don't like Lacey in general. Like, the way she comes off in a group is very sedity. And from what I understand, her money and her wealth is coming from a man. So I just want Lacey to humble herself just a little bit. Something about her just comes off as shallow. But I do respect how kind she is to Jesse's kid and how she seems to move with dating in a way that works for her child. I'm not mad at Lacey for that at all. But the scene was cringy. They're eating they're in like some sort of, it's I'm from California, y'all, a very California spot. This is so LA, a little juice spot. And I'm looking and I'm just like, Jesse's like, hey, Isabella, you going to do this? you're going to do this for Lacey. And Lacey's like, she's not a circus animal. She doesn't have to just perform for me if she don't feel like it. Isabella listens better to Michelle. Michelle, I'm sorry. When I see Isabella with Jesse, she's running amok and acting a fool. But when she's with Michelle, she listens. She's a kid. She has fun, but she listens. That's all I'm going to say. Good job, Michelle. You could tell Michelle don't play that shit because I don't feel like we've seen Isabella just frolicking around acting a fool like we did in this scene, except for when she's with her dad. But there's always that softer parent, and he's a girl dad, so he does get a pass. But I don't care about Lacey's doomsday shelter. If you don't want something to people to know about something, you wouldn't say anything. And let's say doomsday comes and you don't let anybody in your shelter. Good luck continuing the human population. But I don't know. I'm not trying to make Lacey a thing. I'm not intrigued by her yet. She hasn't wowed me, y'all. We are going to get into Janet and Jason's attempt at a game night. Now, you could tell that this was their attempt to redo what they did last year. I believe in the last season, before Janet took it to hell, she had a game night at Dave & Buster's. She was fun. She was light. Everybody enjoyed her and all of these fun things. But she tried to do another couples game night. Nobody showed up except for Brittany, Lala, and Michelle. Nobody. Tom Schwartz might have been there, but nobody else showed up, which is pretty much the cast. Lala's a new cast member, so of course she's going to be there. Brittany, we expect her to go with Janet at this point. Michelle, she's been playing the middle very well, I think, in a way that's not messy and doesn't contribute to more issues. So I'm not surprised to see Michelle there. Nobody else came. And I wouldn't have thought nothing of it if production did not show Zach in his house making some sort of electrolyte drink. Jasmine and her girl were just at home looking at each other doing nothing. I believe we did see Jesse doing nothing. We saw a couple of the cast at home doing absolutely nothing, letting you know they could have all made it to this event, but just prefer not to be around Janet. And I think they're smart to not go. Normally, I feel like that was mean, but the ego on Janet and the privilege this lady has is so disgustingly strong that them not showing up was good. Because had they show up, her ego would have immediately went to, all right, I've won them back. I can get back to my evil behavior. Like, I truly believe that. I truly believe that. She needs to understand consequences exist when your actions are not the best. Like, she needs to understand that. So I'm not mad at the cast. And most of them did send Janet a message about not going. But it's also, to me, proof that, one, they took it too far. Because everybody on the cast has had issues. Season 1, Michelle, Jesse, Kristen, and Luke was beefing bad. Now they're cool. Brittany has had issues with all of these people because she's a flip-flopper as a friend and not loyal to nobody really. But she can get along with them and make peace. Like, everybody's had their issues with each other in the group. The problem with Janet and Jason is they took it too far and perpetuated a narrative that impacted someone's reputation. And that's what they don't understand. Well, they understand it. They just don't give a fuck because it's not them. And that's the problem a lot of people have with them. If they would be accountable and say sorry, fine. But the way that she goes about things is just incorrect. But her little game night, it didn't really go to best. It just did not. Now, Janice says after the group plays the game, she goes to the side with Brittany, Lala, and Michelle. And she says to Brittany about the San Diego trip, I guess, that they're going to try and have, that she has tried to have conversations with the people she has an issue with to make things right, but it did not work. And my thing is, you accuse people of SA even after they have apologized for their behavior and continue to push a narrative about them. And then when you have made the issue or the effort to try and apologize, you say, well, if you want an apology, I'm happy to do that to move on. But then you double down on what you said, which is the reason for the apology. So you're not really giving an apology. And Janet just cannot seem to understand that. And she makes a comment that pissed me off because she says if people cannot tell her specifically what she has done wrong to them, then she's not able to apologize. Why do people have to tell you that you have wronged them in order for you to rectify your wrong? bitch, what? Like, Janet, this, I'm sorry, I don't understand what this is and what's wrong with her. Jason, we can say, is defending his wife, but I see a spoiled ass brat that's had white privilege and doesn't understand the error of her ways. Or she understands and just doesn't care. Like, I'm so tired of Janet. I try to watch my mouth on YouTube, but you could just tell that deep down, this is just not like a good person, in my personal opinion. And she's a person that thinks if she's not harming people physically, then she's not actually harming them. And I actually think that's dangerous. And Jason, as an attorney, understands and is trained in seeing both sides. He's also trained to defend in both sides as if they're both right. So I don't know. I'm just kind of annoyed with it. But she makes that comment and Brittany gets annoyed. Brittany says she's annoyed with the beef. She's tired of being put in the middle and she's over it. And she feels like Janet can do stuff to improve the situation. But every time people try to do something to improve the situation, Janet walks away or avoids it or doesn't show up. Janet decides to, pull out the white women tears. I'm sorry. That's what she did. And she's like, because I don't want to put Brittany in the middle. And Brittany just was like, well, girl, stop walking away and make it right. Good job, Brittany, for finally fucking holding a friend accountable. But the only reason you're holding her accountable is because the audience got on your ass about how you were defending her instead of sticking for your friends that were actually being wronged. So I don't want to say with Brittany it's too little too late, because if she start moving like that, I'm okay with it. But let's just call a spade a spade. Sometimes we got to hold our friends accountable. It's not the most comfortable thing to do. They may not always receive it right, but it's the right thing to do. And Janet is used to not being held accountable. Period, point blank. Nobody could tell me differently. But we're going to move on from that. Let me know how you guys feel about Janet in the comments. If you feel differently from me, totally fine. I would love to hear your opinion. But I have not seen one Janet supporter. Like, I cannot find them. And I would love to find one and see why they support her and like what it is they see. Because I do think it's important to see both sides of things. But I'm just struggling to see Janet's side. Like, what she did was truly damaging and disparaging. And I don't like it, y'all. I don't like it. But the last little thing we see of this show and this episode is the group gathering at Brittany's house for a redo pool party. And Lala says to Jasmine at this event that she feels like Jasmine and a lot of the people who have an issue with Janet are only choosing to have an issue with her because they don't have their own minds and are dealing with peer pressure and are being influenced. I said, excuse me, Lala, do you have a degree in applied social psychology? Do you know something we don't? Because I understand Lala has known some people in this group for a couple of years. But baby boo, you cannot come into a situation that you are not well versed on and not a part of and be new to the group and tell the majority that they are brainwashed about somebody. Lala, the way you are on Vanderpump Rules, go watch the seasons back and look at Janet's behavior. It's very weird that you're trying to defend her. It's very, very weird. I think it's weird of Lala to even get involved. Personally, like, I know she's a part of the friend group, but if I'm coming into the group on the show, like, mind your business, Lala. Chill out, Lauren. Stay in your lane, boo. And I like Lala, but I thought that was a little much. And Lord, Jasmine explains to Lala, like, pretty much like, you ain't been there. You don't know much. There's a reason people are upset. It's that simple. You could tell people that they're brainwashed, but that's not going to make them be nice to Janet. Just saying, mind your business, Lala. And then we get to see Zach having a talk with Luke about Kristen's situation. Listen, Zach wants them to go to therapy. I think a third party would be good. Sounds like Zach, Luke, and everybody is on the same page that Kristen's tripping. Kristen is postpartum right now and probably not thinking right. I do think a marriage counselor would be smart, but I also don't understand why Brandon was chiming in to give Kristen an opinion on things. I'm just kind of like, I know people didn't pay attention to this. I'm like, whatever. We know Kristen and Luke could get to therapy. Zach having an opinion, we understand that. Kristen and Zach been day one since this show started and before also. But Brandon, I'm getting tired of your black ass coming and commenting like you know these people so well. And I had to say to myself, wait a second, why am I mad at Brandon? He comments on what his girl is telling him. Brittany, stop pillow talking all of your friends' business to this new nigga you just got. That's the shit Brittany used to do with Jax. She used to go and pillow talk to Jax even after they were broken up. And then he would come and throw stuff at people's face because he know their business. Brittany, stop. Please. Please stop, girl. Please. But the final thing we see, because Janet and her pet do arrive at this event, we see Zach and Janet go and talk because he's the only person to greet her. And pretty much in the talk, Zach is not willing to allow Janet to bullshit him. She's not letting her gaslight him. He pretty much explains and mentions Danny and Nia. And Janet's like, I don't want to talk. It's like, no, that's why this group is mad at you. Because what you did to them was so bad that they need to see you be accountable, Janet, to know that you won't accuse them of doing some stuff like that. Like, she does not see how big of an issue this truly is. And it's baffling and concerning. It's genuinely baffling and concerning. But they end up talking, and Janet is still very messy, but she does admit that she should not have spoken about people the way that she did. And she does keep saying, I will give Janet credit there. She does keep saying that she should not have used certain words. I'm assuming the words she used as saying that he essayed her. I think she's saying she should have used a different line of words, like he was aggressive while drunk and handsy. That would have been appropriate, but essay was crazy. But I just feel like she needs to be accountable with the right people. And he asked her why she has not been accountable with the right people. And she says she is willing to give that apology to them. But it's like, why did you give it to Zach? The first people you should go to before you go to anybody else should be Danny and Nia. But she's tried with them, and I think the door is closed with them. So I'm actually okay with Janet trying to make peace with everybody else. But I feel like just too much has happened. Jason made it worse. The way they handled it was terrible. I feel like maybe they could just exit stage left on the show. Send Janet back to hang out with Sheena. Do that. We don't need her here. We don't need her here. Speaking of Sheena Shea, are you okay? Because Stassi, I don't really care for her after her racist comments, but Stassi Schroeder is getting a new show on Hulu, her own show, and allegedly Katie Maloney will be on there. So that means that all of the Vanderpump Rules former stars, with the exception of Jax, who killed his own opportunity, will be back on television. But Sheena done outed Bravo and wrote this book and did all this stuff. So I don't know if we'll ever see her again, but we just had to check on Sheena. I hope she's okay. But y'all, that was my review of The Valley. This episode was interesting. It looks like we did get a mid-season trailer, so it does look like we're going to get some more crazy stuff that's going to happen for the rest of the season. I do thank everybody who watched this review. If you made it to the end, and welcome again to all of our new subscribers. Thug Life, y'all matter. There is going to be a live stream on Friday, May 1st, featuring myself and I believe the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. I believe it may feature Q1J TV, but I'm not sure yet. I'll be going over the final part of the Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, or part 2. I believe part 2 of the reunion. And we'll also have Ladies of London. I'll do a special live stream review of the next episode of that. Other than that, I thank everybody. Hope y'all have a good night. Don't forget to like the video, and I'll see y'all next time. Adios.